Jeff Dunn. I can tell you I recognize him.
Okay, well, I apologize. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
And let me I guess something happened to my name there. I am not the Ithaca Rotary Club, at least not today. So, okay, there we go.
We lost a couple of people, but they'll come back.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I had a question mark in my one calendar, and then I never had anything in my Outlook, which means I don't think I ever got an invite. I don't think I ever got a Zoom link. And so then I got to thinking, well, maybe we hadn't confirmed a time. So I had one meeting that ran long, and then so I stepped out for a couple minutes, and so I apologize.
No, it's my apology. I told the group that I might not have sent you the Zoom link.
Okay. Which I think was the case.
And I told them that you were very keen to speak. So we wondered if there had been an emergency.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess I recognize a few names there on the program. So are you all set, or do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'll just briefly introduce myself. I'm Jeff Dunn. I'm the Community Preparedness Coordinator for the Department of Emergency Response. I've been with this department for just over 3 years now. I actually came to Dewar from the Department of Recycling Materials Management. So I did some time over there, and before that I had quite a lengthy time in radio and television. So somewhat of a varied background. But one of the things that we've been doing, in my current job is to administer our mass notification system. Many of you may recall that we had a program called Swift 911. And that started about 2017, so it wasn't all that old. But recently, the Swift folks were merged with a company called Rave Mobile Safety, and Rave has several platforms that they use, and their alert platform is what we transitioned to. Eventually, all of the Swift 911 customers are going to become Rave customers. So at the end of last year, we determined that, why don't we just, be proactive and take care of that business sooner than later. And as it turns out, Swift is actually going to be going away at the end of this year. And if you go onto the Swift portal, they'll have a big message that say you can no longer use this to send messages as of December 31st. So it was going to happen anyway. And so we transitioned as soon as we could, and it actually started in March, accepting folks onto the new platform. This is the same alert system that is used by Cornell University, by Ithaca College, by Cayuga Medical Center for a lot of their internal communications. The real benefit of it is it allows us, aside from the fact that it's very easy to use, very easy to set up, from the administrator standpoint, it's a much more user-friendly system, but it allows us to customize it locally. So we decided to go with a name, SIREN, which, as you know, in many cases in Tompkins County and Ithaca, it's a acronym, and the acronym stands for Safety and Incident Real-Time Emergency Notifications. So that's SIREN. If I can share my screen here, I might be able to.
Yeah, I'll set you up.
Okay. I think it's right on this one here. And then I've got to just
there you go.
go to a couple of different ones. So if I go to the SIREN logo, see if that'll help us out here. There you go. So that is, can you see that okay?
We're still seeing your directory.
Oh, okay. So that's not going to work, is it? Maybe I can't do that.
I'm gonna make you a co-host and see if that works easier.
Okay, somehow I've got to stop sharing.
Yeah, I would say stop sharing and share your whole screen, then go back.
Okay, let me see. So stop sharing. All right, and then. Okay, let's see if that'll. Trying to get the. Oh, there we go. Now are you able to see that?
We're
Yep.
still only seeing, oh, can people see the logo? We're still only seeing a directory, or
Oh,
that's all I see.
anybody see the, you can't see the logo?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, sorry
Correct.
about that. All right, I'm not quite sure what I can do there. But, okay, well, I'll just keep talking about it. So the logo is, so it incorporates, some of our images, our colors in our logo, the Department of Emergency Response. But it also has some reference to the county seal, Tompkins County seal, and this was kind of a creative take on it. The wings, there are wings in the logo that reference, from Greek mythology, and the sirens and Odysseus' return to Ithaca. So, I think probably more folks in Ithaca appreciate that than the rest of Tompkins County. Whoa.
There you go.
Okay.
Can at least see that part.
Okay, there you go. Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. So it is an acronym, and rather than just having it Swift 911 or Rave Alert or Cornell Alert, which is what Cornell uses, a lot of communities across the country, they incorporate their name in some way, but we decided to go with Tompkins County Siren. Okay, and this is, as I said, a mass notification system. So it is primarily used to push out emergency information. However, many communities around the county use it to send information to their residents. So there may be, a road closing, a detour in place, scheduled construction, anything of that nature. Some more urgent alerts like, water main breaks, that kind of thing. So if you were on the system over the weekend, you got the notice on Sunday night about power lines and roads being, closed or blocked by trees because of the storm. So that's a instance where it would be a more widespread alert, but many folks use it very locally. Villages, towns. We have a few departments in the county that use it to send out internally information. I know the state police uses it as an internal tool to message their folks. Bangs Ambulance does that. So it really depends, in many respects where you are as to what kind of alerts you might be getting. But if it's serious enough and of a widespread incident, then it's going to be sent to everybody. So in some of the earlier communication, very early on, as I mentioned earlier, we need to encourage people to sign on, create a profile or an account within SIREN. And that the website that you just showed is where you would go to do that off of our Tompkins County page. And yes, it's true that at the very beginning, all of the information from Swift, that if you had a Swift 911 account, that was brought over, it was migrated over to the new platform. However, what didn't happen was that in many cases, it was just your contact information and not your preferences. And one of the beauties of the system is you can go in and choose how you want to receive alerts, rather, by your phone, by your email, by a text message. You could choose all three. You could choose just one of them. And then you can also choose what kind of alerts you want to get. So if you're in the village of Dryden, you might just want to get Dryden community announcements and Dryden alerts. There's, I think, also a contact list that says for the gas station out there, the Borger gas station, so that you can sign up for alerts there. Some folks sign up for everything because they want to know, what's going on. Folks who who live outside the city of Ithaca but may work in the city, they sign up for the Ithaca alerts because, hey, it may impact whether they can get into work that day or not, depending on what kind of an announcement there is. So really, our job right now over the next few months and over the course of the summer is to encourage everybody who hasn't done so to create their account in SIREN, because at the end of the year, when the information from SWIFT is sunsetted, that'll be taken out of the SIREN platform, and you risk not getting alerts when that time comes. So just a show of hands, who has gone ahead and done this? How many of you have actually signed up? Anne and Carolyn, Leslie, great. What was and Tom?
Yep.
Okay. What was your experience in doing it? I mean, it basically was 3 steps. Did you find it?
I can't even remember, and I'm now sharing my screen and trying to recreate my password, which I can't understand what I wrote. And I know I didn't put my cell phone in, and
Okay.
I haven't received anything this weekend. So I was just going to see if I was signed up or not. And I'm trying to come back with my password. It's on my list, but I used some cryptic way of writing it, and I don't know if I've got the right thing, so.
Yeah, I believe there was the messages that were sent this weekend were not, they did not send it as voice. They were sent as emails and texts.
I didn't get either, but I didn't. Yeah.
Okay. Carolyn, what was your experience?
Well, again, I don't remember anything about signing up, so it must have been easy. Otherwise, I would have remembered. And I have been receiving the alerts. I think I limited mine pretty, strictly. But I have received road alerts and weather alerts. So that's. Right. I have a question. This is. If we have an emergency, we still dial 911, like a personal emergency. This is right?
Absolutely.
Completely
yes.
Separate. Okay.
This in no way replaces that at all. No. This is a method by which we can get information to people in a large number of people in a short period of time. Mm-hmm. So, and if who was able to? Can somebody share the page again? For me. Leslie, are you doing that? I'm sorry.
I will, sure. I have to get to it.
Yeah, because actually, if we can maybe just do a couple of quick steps here, and we can show how that.
There we go. There we are.
Okay. Yep. So if you you can either click that nice red box right there in the center. That'll then take you to the sign up page. Okay. Unfortunately, unless we put information in there, we won't be able to go to the next screen. But what'll happen is that it'll send you. I think the next step after is it'll send you a confirmation code on your phone or your email. And then after that, you would then select your notifications and how you're going to get them. And then the other thing I wanted to, if you look at that archive of past notifications on the left side, I believe, okay, there isn't anything on there because it expired, but if you, the message from Sunday would have been on there about the power outages. But I think there's just I don't believe they last very long on there. Okay.
And where do we see, Jeff, how do we update our information in this?
Okay, well, the thing is, the other major piece of this is that now you are managing your accounts, not us. So if you needed to change anything, like Ann's trying to do, you need to go back into your account. If you forget your password, you'll have to say, I forgot my password. They'll have to reset it for you. But we have no knowledge of any of that.
How do I get to my account from here?
Well, if you cursor down a little further, right in the middle of the page, right there, need to update your preferences, click here. And that will then take you to your account.
I could try.
Yeah, what I just did was, I said I forgot my password. I just figured out what it was as a matter of fact.
Okay, great.
So, but it sent a reset to my email, a PIN number there. I just put it in and redid the password. Now I know what my secret.
Beautiful.
So I've gotten that far now because I want to change something, which is what I'm working on right now. Okay.
Yeah, it really is. It puts you in control of everything. Say you move, or or your phone number changes, you move, and you no longer want to get Trumansburg announcements or something like that. You can go in there and make all those changes.
Yeah, I'm just putting in my cell phone.
Yep. Okay.
Which I hadn't done, which I realized was pretty stupid. Right.
And then, I think there might be some folks who, may need help. They can get assistance. We always ask, the best thing would be maybe you have a family member who can help you with that. You can add people onto your account. So if somebody else maybe opens their account or creates their account, they can add you, or vice versa. In the event, you have issues with creating that account. So, our goal here is, obviously we want as many people in the county to be signed up. I should note, it is completely voluntary. You don't have to, okay? You do realize that we don't do weather alerts. We're not authorized to do weather alerts. They come through the National Weather Service, and actually most cell phones will pick those up through what's known as WEA, Weather Emergency Alerts, okay, WEA. But we want to also add to what you can sign up for. And I think that'll be our next big push, probably toward the end of this year, early next year. We used to have a couple of things in Swift that were like that. We've added a public health alerts list that you can sign up for that has several thousand people already on there. You could, I think there was one that we had for the library. So we need to kind of reestablish that one. So if you wanted to get library notices about when they're closed, or special announcements that are really specific to library patrons, we hope to do that. And we'll always look for things that might be more useful to folks. But right now, generally speaking, if you go to the list, you have the municipality that has their emergency notification, and you've got one for community announcements. So those basically are the two categories per village or town. But then the city of Ithaca has several lists. They do an odd even parking, they do snow emergency, they do street cleaning. And they were really the ones to kind of launch things earlier this spring, because all of their street cleaning announcements were done through the SIREN system. and they had very, very few issues, which was great. So, are there any other questions that I can help you with?
Okay, I can say that I successfully added my cell phone.
Okay,
And it's been confirmed by a text to my phone.
nice. Yep, good.
So now I should get everything,
Now
right?
you should be good. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't sign up for all the lists though, did you, Ann?
No.
No. Okay, so you'll only get those that are, that you've signed up for.
Okay, so
With the only exception, I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, it says you're currently opted into the emergency notification SIREN and you're
Yep.
eligible for, and it puts a whole bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, I could every town in the county.
Yes, yeah, so you just want to click on the ones that you want. Okay, right? I mean, emergency alerts that are countywide, everybody's going to get them. You have no option to get out of those. Those will be sent to you.
Perfect.
But it's those additional ones, when you dig down a little deeper, depending on where you live and what your preferences are. Yeah. So good. I'm glad that's a good success story.
Well,
Stephanie?
Go on.
Stephanie's got her hand up.
Stephanie, your hand's up.
Yeah, trying to get to I'm on my little mobile phone and I can't get back and forth and whatnot. But I'm curious about there are ways that sort of like NICEAG notifies me, Spectrum notifies me, all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I swear I've been inundated and emergencied out. Because lots of times whatever's going on in New York City is part of the notifying me. And I get all freaked out and whatnot. And then it doesn't even apply. And so I'm wondering, I like the idea that you said there's a separateness between community events and that kind of stuff in emergency. Is this going to replace, like I get notifications from the health department. So is that going to end as well?
Well, how do you get those? I know they have an email list, right? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, I primarily because I'm homebound.
Right.
And I'm very ill. And so if something happens, they just can't pick me up and take me to a local shelter or any of that kind of stuff because, I'm too ill, so that's how I'm on their list.
Right. No, that will not change.
Okay.
Yeah, the alerts, the health alerts list that they have, in fact, I don't know if they've used it yet. It's there, but it was really born out of COVID. And it was more of announcing when there was going to be boosters and clinics and that kind of thing. I think that was the purpose of having that list. But if you have any other notification you get from the health department is going to be unchanged from this. Okay. And Stephanie, you bring up a good point because, there is, we're very much aware that this is not a system that can be overused because you are getting a number of different alerts and notifications from other agencies. And in fact, our advice, from emergency management perspective and preparedness perspective is, it's probably not a bad idea to be signed up for as many as you can be, because that way you're going to be notified, because the worst thing you can do is, oh, I never heard about that. Well, in some fashion, you're going to hear about it if you're signed up for New York Alert or the weather alerts or what have you. So, but we're very cognizant of the fact that we cannot overuse it, in that if it is a countywide urgent alert, that it's something that's going to be worthy. I'll give you a good example. I'm actually having a conversation with. We've gone back and forth with the village of Cayuga Heights. They have a culvert replacement along Cayuga Heights Road, I believe it is. So Cayuga Heights Road has been closed. There is a detour in place. There is signs telling you where to go. They wanted to get the information out for, basically for commuters to say, avoid this area. I think it's going to be closed through until September or something like that. It was beginning of July, and it's basically a 2-month project. So they wanted to send that out countywide. And I said, well, that's not a countywide alert. That is, and it's not an urgent alert. It's not an emergency. It is a community announcement that affects, primarily the folks in Cayuga Heights, or village of Lansing, maybe the town of Ithaca. And so we sent those messages out just via those lists as opposed to countywide. I mean, why is somebody in Trumansburg going to care about Cayuga Heights Road being closed down? And, their feeling is that it's a heavy commuter line, that a lot of people use it for a shortcut. Well, that's true, but you know what? The road's already been closed for a couple of weeks, and you've got signs up telling the people that there's a detour. So it's not like, if they make that one mistake once, they're not going to make it again and try to drive by there. So had we sent that out as a countywide alert, I think we would have gotten quite a bit of flack on it. And folks would have been upset because now you're desensitizing, because they're saying, oh, why did I get that? Because it really doesn't affect me. When we're sending you alert, we want to make sure that it's something that's pertinent to your livelihood or your property or what have you.
Jeff, has county run out of detour signs this summer?
I think it's more of the city. I couldn't believe down there.
City, it's unbelievable. My husband came home. We live on West Hill, and he came home one day and said, "You can't get up this way. You can't do this. Buffalo's this. State Street's this. Downtown's this. All backed up. You can't get through Green Street anymore." Oh.
I will say the city has done a very good job of communicating via SIREN to those folks who are on the city construction list. And they have been sending a lot of messages out.
Maybe we all need to do
Jeff, Barb Chase has a
Sure, go ahead, Barb.
question.
I had a question. My question is about time of day. So the emergency alerts, I mean, I live way out in Enfield. I don't want to get woken up in the middle of the night to know that the traffic lights are out in Ithaca, but during the day that would be useful to know. So is there a way to, but if there's tornado would come through the weather alerts, but if there's something really serious, yes, go ahead and wake me up. But you know what I mean?
Well, you bring up a couple of points that I should make. Is that one, the alerts obviously are not sent out discriminately, they or automatically. They need to be requested. So in the event of if there was some issue out in Enfield and the sheriff called our 911 center and said, I'd like a siren alert sent out. We're really, we're doing it at their behest. And you can't really say, well, Sheriff, it's 1 a.m. We really don't need to set this out right now. But I don't think there's really been that case where there's been anything. There might have been something that was sent early one day. I don't know if it was one of those police activity, manhunt shootings, the type, one of those where there was something like 5 a.m. But for the most part, events of this nature and notices of that nature, they happen during the day anyway, or we have some knowledge ahead of time. So, I don't think let's face it. Look at this way, Barbie. If you were woken up in the middle of the night, it'd have to be something significant and something that would probably, you'd be thankful that you were awake to hear about it.
If the sheriff says there's a shooter in Enfield, I do want to know about it in the middle of the night. Yes.
So, but it's I think it is done with a lot of things in mind, and that's probably one of them is the the time of day.
Yeah.
So. All right. Do we have anybody else? Oh, somebody's coming into the waiting room there.
But
Oh,
it was very nice being informed that there was a potential shooter within a mile of me.
Yes, yes. Yeah, basically, a good rule of thumb is that we're not going to send things aren't going to be sent out unless it's of an imminent threat or danger. You know, obviously, if an area is being blocked off because of police activity, we want to make sure that folks don't go near that area. So you're going to get that kind of information. I think somebody mentioned, was it? I think it was Barbara mentioned about the tornado. So, the tornado alert itself would come out through the Weather Service, but anything that would be related to damage from that tornado, we would send it out through SIREN. Okay, so, just like happened the other night after the storms went through, you had a lot of traffic lights were out, you had trees blocking roads, so there was a general alert sent countywide to, that was after the storm, because you had already gotten the thunderstorm warning on your phone from the Weather Service. So you knew the weather was going to get bad. But then the follow-up in whatever direction we need to give you in the event of the aftermath is where SIREN would come into play. Yeah. Or if there's a flooding situation, water's rising, that's the kind of stuff that would be pushed out, as soon as we get it. Because there's an imminent danger to either life or property.
Jeff?
Yeah, go ahead, Ann.
I have a question about us, the residents notifying about road issues. This past weekend, it must have happened sometime Friday, a tree came down on Elm Street Extension in what we call the dip.
Okay.
Where it goes, we go down and then you're 90 degrees up. We go to and from town that way. And I think somebody stopped at some point and at least got it into one lane. And then later in the weekend, somebody pushed it over the side. So it was Monday morning when there were two trucks there to chop it up, mulch it, do whatever you will with it. Matter of fact, you can't even tell the tree was ever down. But it was really the people are going by and being around and so forth. But at one point, my husband left a message, I think, for Town of Ithaca Highway.
Okay.
What's the best? It was on the weekend. So what's the best thing for us people who are passed that way all the time to, who do we notify?
Well, you did the right thing in notifying your municipality. That would be if it is of a non-emergency basis.
Right.
Your municipality, DPW, Public Works Department would be who you'd want to contact. If it was something that was, say that tree had just fallen and it was blocking traffic, okay, and you couldn't get around it or you couldn't get out and move it, then you would call 911.
Okay.
Because then the 911 folks would then dispatch someone to take care of that.
Right, because
in an urgent matter.
It's one of the two routes out to where 79 is the other route. Well, obviously you can go over to Bostwick and whatever, but it is a route that is used a lot. So, okay.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, good rule of thumb is if it's something that's, threatening, or somebody could be hurt by it or could create an accident, that's 911. If it's something that is not of an emergency nature and can be taken care of later, then you call your DPW and they could come out and clear it.
Okay. Oh, man.
Oh, somebody's humming.
My husband.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So you folks have gotten quite a bit of coverage lately on your, I saw a nice little news story the other day on Love Living at Home. So you're.
We are a very successful organization. I speak as a proud board member.
Oh, they have to mute.
And no, we've been doing a lot. We're being recognized, and I
Nice.
don't know if you've heard, Jeff, of our arrangement with CSP Management, where they are allowing us, if we want to buy in at a fairly small monthly price, to all of their people, and we give them to-do lists that you would not believe, because many of us have a
Right.
whole bunch of. And you cannot believe, I went to one of the Zooms where people were talking about what they had done, and they've done stuff for us too. And the variety of big jobs around the house and little job from,
Mhm.
making sure the towel rack doesn't come off the wall, to
That's
jacking up
great.
a corner of the house and shoring up the foundation. I mean, it was just, so this has just been unbelievable. I think all of us have, at first I thought, what are we going to do? And I sat down with my husband and we just came up with item after item, big one, little one. Few of them they weren't going to do. They told us that, no problem. Anyway, that's one big success that we've had.
That's great. Yeah. Excellent. Now, so I have a question for you folks. So we have a nice little brochure here. I don't know if you've seen this. This has been distributed to a lot of the towns and villages. Is there a way, what's the best way to try to reach the folks who were not on the call today? Or what would you recommend?
Leslie,
I think we could include something in our monthly newsletter. That seems like the best way. And
Okay.
and we could put, it's online, so there's links, etc.
Yeah, you want me to send you some script, some text that you
Absolutely.
could use?
That would be great.
There's a couple of things I've been pushing out that's very concise and, just basically saying what needs to be done and what you need to do. And then, like you said, the links are there. So, yeah. And can you send me an email so that I have yours?
Absolutely. You probably have Cheryl's executive director.
I have Cheryl, so can I just send it to
there.
her? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, and then that way, and what I'll do also is I'll send you a couple of the other, I'll send you the electronic form of this in case you want
Perfect.
to print it
awesome.
out or distribute it that way. And, if you want me to send you some of these, I can do that too. Do you have an office actually or no? Or is everything done?
There actually is a physical office, but,
okay.
But nobody is really in there right now.
Okay.
We're still very virtual.
As I was going to say, I can.
Down with COVID and it hasn't quite come back yet.
Yeah, I understand. Sure. Okay.
But thank you, Jeff. That's great. That information would be really wonderful and great to include in a newsletter for sure.
Okay, great. So
Thank
if
you.
you can, please encourage folks as much as you can to your neighbors and friends to please create their accounts. They really have until the end of the year to do so. And then, you can be a testament to how easy it is, and maybe you can help them if necessary. And let me know, reach back out to me if there's any additional assistance I can provide.
That's great. Thank you.
And I can testify to that in real time. And this is the first time I've really tried. I'm doing this on a desktop, so I have a big monitor.
Sure.
But I make my Zoom thing bigger or smaller and open up another web portion, and I felt very accomplished today as I added things and got texts with the right numbers, and so it's not very difficult. So many places make us do the same thing, so we're kind of trained.
Right. And there is a text, you can text SIREN to 67283 if you want to just do it on your phone. Okay, and then the phone will send you the link to go sign up.
Okay. Some of us have never heard of a QR code until we got our.
Or you can do the QR code, right. I
Vaccination, and she says you can sign up with the next one with this QR. I said, with the what? And then she says, just take out your iPhone. I said, well, I have an Android, not an iPhone.
I did mine. I did mine by the desktop, so it was easy. So,
That's
Stephanie,
right.
did you have another question?
Yeah, I'm not very tech savvy, and I have a unique situation which causes so many problems. I have a rental phone while I'm disputing a thing with Verizon, and I have an iPhone which I know how to use, but unfortunately, I can't use it until I clear up the dispute with Verizon. And of course, our assistant attorney general is too busy working on other things. And anyway, so I wanted to ask about signing up to this. I already have done this with Zoom, and Zoom tracks the daylights out of me. And I'm a domestic violence survivor.
Okay. Yep.
And so I've been found, because of using, social media, and I've never been able to get all that resolved. And so I'm wondering about privacy.
Right. Privacy in terms of
Signing
our
up for
information
this.
is used. Yeah, it is not, doesn't go anywhere else. I mean, this is a database that's Tompkins County only.
And so there's no tracking from the Swift or the new company or any of that kind of stuff.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
And it's all, and it's all just one-way communication, because we're pushing information out to you. So yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, good question.
I can do it, but I'm probably going to, Anne usually, is the one that I listen to about information, but I can also let you know, and Anne, you didn't say it yet, that when it's recorded on Love Living at Home, every member that wants to can get access to that. They just notify the director and can get this recording.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm really tech unsavvy, but I'll probably sign up for it because, that way I can get off of NICEAG and Spectrum and all these other kind of things and just stick with one. Anyway, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just to let you know, we will not send Spectrum or NICEAG alerts. So they're going to be specific to their, I mean, we wouldn't be doing that type of thing. So, except for maybe power outages, but we wouldn't be specific. I mean, we might send out an alert that says, hey, half of, the West End and Ulysses and Points West are without power, but there won't be any specifics about restoration and that kind of thing that you would get on your NICEAG. So just to let you know. And I don't think we would ever send out a cable outage. Those type of things.
Yeah, do you imagine if we have this outage of electricity? Well, I guess everybody kind of has a cellular, but I don't. I do things by Wi-Fi and whatnot. And but I was getting bombarded, and it just so happens I don't know about other people, but for the last 2 months, every weekend the power has gone out. Every weekend. And then I get this notice in the mail that, hey, we got something great. We're going to install these new Wi-Fi meters and whatnot and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking, you buggers, you could just let us know ahead of time so we could plan accordingly. You're cutting us out, and no, I found out this weekend it was really some, kind of a storm, but I'm like, every weekend, really? Even Spectrum sends out advance notices when they're going to be working on the thing, but it is what it is, and I have to roll with what is there. And I was very upset. I was caught off-handed in the total darkness, and I can't use my legs very well and my hands and whatnot. I just had to sit here in the dark. And I was upset because they said, really? This is the 8th week in a row you've done this. But it turned out to be real.
NICEAG says that new technology is going to make sure that they have fewer outages. So I'll wait and see it when it's time.
I doubt it. I'm a pessimist with that because it's going to turn around and come out on my bill some way or another. They'll add another little charge to pay for that upgrade. But it is what it is. And, and we, grumble, grumble, grumble. And that's what I get.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. We are past time unless there's any other questions, outstanding questions.
Great conversation.
we'll
Thanks
say-
for having me. And again, I apologize for the delay in getting on today.
That's fine. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
okay, we're all now
Yes.
the experts in this, folks. So we'll be the
There you go.
LLH experts on the SIREN system.
And I'll send
Bye-bye.
you,
Have a
and
good
I'll get those
afternoon.
emails right over to you, Leslie.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Be safe.
Back at you.